All right. Both sides are live. Both sides are live. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So I'm just gonna give it a minute and let at least one or two people pop in. Um, I haven't been live. Golly, I don't even remember the last time I went live. Totally don't remember the last time I went live. Um, I think I went live maybe. You know what? Let me see. I think I went live at the beginning of June, maybe end of end of May might be the last time. I had a lot going on, and so I have not been live in a real hot minute. And as per usual, TikTok is first in the building, first in the building. So, greetings and salutations to everyone on TikTok. I forgot to tell my godchildrens and whatnot, like, hey, y'all want to come hang out? So, give me a second. Give me a second. He's at work, but he might be able to pop in. He might be able to pop in. Uh, is that who I think it is? I think so. Okay, I think I got everybody. Oops. All right, there we go. I had to make sure I grab everyone. Oh, and I got one either on Facebook or YouTube. So yay, 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 yay. And somebody tell my goddaughter to stop sending me text messages right now. Okay, so greetings and salutations, everybody. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter Day, happy Oshe Ifa, Oshe Ola. I am Ianifa Owini Adina to the Simi Fa Omi Shango. And today feels like it's been on my mind for a minute, but I haven't really done like a full blown live about it. So I decided today, since I haven't been live in ages, I'll try to save some time at the end for Q&A, but I really wanted to kind of talk about where Ifa has been leading me for myself personally, as well as the direction that my temple, which is Temple Egbe Ori Egun Ofuashe, is moving, even if I can't see the full picture, like, okay, this is what's going to be happening, da 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 da. I can kind of see some unfolding beginning to take place. So, one of the things that has come up, and it's great because the way I saw the Odu interpretations that came from Ile Ife, I was like, Ifa is trying to do some healing work that is going to be most beneficial across the globe. But I was able to see how the healing work was going to be beneficial to Black people, specifically Black people in the African American diaspora. We all in the diaspora in general have had experiences with our enslaved ancestors and colonization and things of that nature. But the Black American diaspora has a very unique experience when it comes to ATRs and things of that nature. So, looking at Ifa's divination for the world and being able to see Black America and healing medicine for Black America within the Odu was really beautiful because I'm like, okay, there's a shift trying to happen. And you can already see it with people, just content creators and things of that nature. You see more and more Black people talking about spirituality that is not through an Abrahamic lens. Though not they're not all talking about it through the lens of their ancestors, they're at least speaking on something different. So spiritually, the energies, the divine can see, okay, there's the shift is beginning to take place. The shift is beginning to start to move. And now being able to say, okay, what is this going to look like? What is this trying to look like? What exactly is trying to be made manifest for people in the diaspora? And so for my own lineage, I had kind of gone, I knew that there was an importance around me saying that my temple is a Black American Isese temple. But I only really started like completely verbalizing that, I would say probably in the last week or two, um, at most, because I didn't really like, I hadn't like sat with the download long enough to say, okay, why is E5 wanting me to communicate it in this fashion? Why is my Ori telling me that this is the way that I need you to come out with what you are doing. And so I thought about the way that Orisha traditions as a whole have been manifest across the diaspora. And so if you don't know that the mother tradition is Isese. And Ola and Isese originates in West Africa across Yoruba land. Um, Ifa as a divination system is and even as a religion is practiced in other areas, but Isheshe by and large comes from Yoruba land. You enter colonization and the Atlantic slave trade, Isheshe, the mother tradition, she is now carried across the ocean. And so she's carried across the ocean to various areas of the diaspora. So there are people who are descended from or Isheshe practitioners that live in multiple places. So when you look at what happened in Cuba, then what happened is they were able to hold a good bit of Isheshe, but she had to get married. And so she had to get married to Catholicism. And so she was able to basically keep a lot of herself, but when her through her in her children, but her children are still birthed with an Isheshe mother and a Catholic dad, but they were able to cultivate their own denomination of Orisha tradition. So we get Santeria, Lukumi. They were able to birth their own. So this is the Afro Cuban, because not everybody Cuban is Afro Cuban. This is the Afro Cuban spiritual system that was birthed in that area. You go to, I really feel like it's Trinidad. You go to Trinidad, a similar thing happens. Isheshe goes there. She meets someone, another religion. They come together. The children that are cultivated together become Shango Baptists. Still, that is that culture. So the Trinidadian Orisha tradition is Shango Baptist. Then you get to Brazil. Same thing happens, but they have their own Orisha. This is their Orisha tradition. It is still an Orisha tradition through Candomblé, and so on and so forth. But then you get to the U.S., and in the U.S., they were like, "Y'all not staying together in the same tribe? What do you mean? We're gonna mix all of the nations together. We're gonna have a few Yoruba here, a few Congolese here. We're gonna mix all of y'all together." And so the ancestors here in the States, they had to get creative. So a Black American Orisha tradition was not birthed. Hoodoo was birthed because they were not all Orisha practitioners. They were all African religious practitioners, but not all Orisha. And that is why when you look at hoodoo, you can see the grandmothers within hoodoo. You can see Isheshe in hoodoo. You can see voodoo in hoodoo. You can see the grandmothers of the African religions within the Black African American religion of hoodoo. But it's not a voodoo tradition. It's not a Loa religion. It's not an Orisha religion. It is its own thing. And so there was not a birthing of a African American, a Black American diasporic Orisha tradition. And so for folks like me, by and large, when you learn about Orisha tradition, you learn from who you see in social media or who you run into. And so the way that Orisha tradition started to show up in the States was through the Afro Cuban traditions of Lukumi and Santeria. So then you have Black Americans who maybe don't have any Catholic background, who don't have any Spanish background, but they're practicing a religion that is African at its core. And the only way they can get to the Orisha is through this religion. And so that's why they started practicing Santeria, Lukumi. But it's like there is not that African American Orisha Isheshe. And so when it started coming that you're going to have an Ile, you're going to birth a temple and things of that nature, I'm just like, I practice Isheshe, but it's not Nigerian. Like I can't call it that. I can't call it that. I didn't go to Nigeria to initiate. My godmother was here, so I was able to initiate into an Isheshe lineage that was here, and so I can't call it that. And I even tell them, like, don't come here. You're going to see and hear and feel. It's like, Are you sure you didn't go to Nigeria? I am absolutely positive. That's that. I'm absolutely positive. But it's still Ifa. It's still Isheshe. It's just not Nigerian. It's not Europe in that regard. All the Rikis are done in Europe. All those things. The feeling of it, though, the lens, when we interpret the Odu, we take all the stories and things, but like, how can I put this in a way that someone Black in America can understand what Ifa is trying to say? That's what's here. And Ifa's like, that's needed. Everyone got their own. And I know there is a lineage here in the States that says they are American Ifa, but the face of that lineage is not Black. And that's not to take anything away from them, but that's the facts that it's not Black. And more of more of us in the diaspora that practice Isheshe need to be seen so that our brothers and sisters who are looking for Orisha, who are looking for Ifa, through a lens, through a face that they recognize, who understands what it means to be the descendant of enslaved Africans here in the States, the deconstruction work that has to happen here that may not have to happen in other places is different. It's just not the same. And so being able to have someone help you to, mm, the word that my former best friend said, he said reconcile. Because, see, for me personally, I, Black girl in the South, grew up in a family where we are Israelites, not the purple and gold ones yelling at you on the corner. That's not them. So, but I still grew up in an Abrahamic religion. I still grew up in an Abrahamic religion. And so, and because I grew up in the South, I grew up with the Abrahamic religion that I was in, and then listening to all of my friends in the Abrahamic religion they were in. And you will vicariously absorb the trauma of that one religion, even if you're not practicing it. Like fears about like end of the world and all those good things. I didn't get that from my own religion. I got that from theirs. Like their religion was traumatic enough. And then you couple some of the other things, and then it's like, these are the things you have to deconstruct from. You have to deconstruct from the idea that you have to be perfect, and you don't. And that's one of the things I love about Isheshe and love about Orisha tradition and love about African spirituality. That they don't give you unrealistic expectation about who you're supposed to be. No one asks you, you got to be perfect, you got to be holier thou. That's not the ask. That's not the ask. The ask is be you. That's what the ask is to be yourself. When you hear them talk about walking in Iwa Pele, walking in good and gentle character, what is character? The character is who you are. It is how you show up in the world. It's how you move in the world. It's your value. What do you value? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? It is the whole of who you are. And when you say, what does Ifa want? You. That's what Ifa wants. You. You to be you. You to be the most authentic version of you. And to be a people who is in a space of both having our own Black American diasporic culture that has spread the world, but still also looking for who we are at our root. We're still looking for who we are at our root in some places. So it's like we have our own culture, but we also want to know the culture that helped birth the culture that we cultivated. We want to know the grandmothers of our culture. We want to know the old aunties of our culture. And being able to do that kind of deconstruction work and reestablish a relationship with the Most High that is not built on thinking that there's some divine energy sitting around waiting to smite, judge, unalive us simply because we made a mistake. That is not. And when I hear anyone, even in any ATR, speak about the divinities of that religion through the lens of an Abrahamic language, I don't like it. So, one of the things from my lineage is we don't do that. We don't scare. We don't fear monger because that is an Abrahamic practice. And if you're going to do Abrahamic things, you should go do that over there and not bring that into African spiritual systems because that's not how we talk about our deities. Why? Because we recognize our co creation process. We recognize where we are in the co-creation process, and we also recognize we have personal accountability within that process. So when you recognize you have personal accountability and you are part of the co-creation process, you can't blame the thing that you disliked on something else. One of the things that I told them, like, in my temple, they are not allowed to call Eshu a trickster. They're not allowed to say it. I don't care how many content creators go through. You're looking for a bad guy. You're looking for a bad guy. Because the truth of the matter is, your Ori tried to tell you the easy path. Your Ori tried to tell you which way to go. Your Ori tried to guide you and direct you to the path of ease. Agbo ato. Your Ori tried to guide you to the path of least resistance. But you're like, but I see this path and I see what you're saying here, and it looks lovely, but I've never walked that way before. And your Ori and Eshu are both like, because you know your Ori has its own Eshu. So your Ori and Eshu are like, but I get that. But that path over there is not it. And so you're still like, but, and they're still like, but. And so finally, it's like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Which key do you want? Which door is it that you want to unlock? And when you pick, that there is your, there it is your choice. You have chosen. You have made the move. You have decided what the outcome was going to be, not the divinities. You did. You leave an Abrahamic religion that gives you a bad guy, and then you come to an African spiritual system who doesn't have a bad guy and say, I have to give myself a bad guy because otherwise I'm going to be accountable for my own ish. I'm going to be accountable for my own mess because I need a bad guy. I have been told there's a bad guy that's responsible for all the bad things. Or maybe you are the drama. Maybe you're the drama. Maybe you are the reason why. And understanding this, because I hear some people talking about, well, I wouldn't have, understanding that choices made before you were born, choices made about your destiny, choices made about your life plan, choices made about the people you're going to meet, the things that you're going to experience, and things of the, and understand your book of life. I wish I had that Ifa, that or Odu book that I had, but the book is like this thick. I got a book full of stories from the Odu that's about this thick. Your book of your destiny that is encompassed within your Ori is a bajillion times bigger than this book. Meaning that every single solitary decision that you could possibly make, every single flap of that butterfly wing that can change the course of your life is in that book. And you made those decisions before setting foot on earth. It means you made those decisions without the lens of human experience. You simply just said, okay, well, I can either do this the easy way or the hard way. These is the multitude of things that could possibly happen based upon my decisions and things of that nature, people I interact with, da 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 da, all the things. Then you get here and you're like, oh, this is a book. That's okay. Because once you recognize, now you have, like, you, that you are part of this co-creation process. Now that you recognize that, well, now you also recognize that other than things are divinely ordained as fate, and the time that you are going to leave, everything up else is up for reconstruction. Everything else can be remolded. Alafia omoyi. Everything else can be remolded. Everything else can be redesigned. The whole rest of your book can be like, I'm throwing this whole part of this section of this book out. Boom, throwing this part of this book out. African spiritual systems do divination not because they're looking for something outside of themselves. When you realize the relationship from an Isese perspective between your Ori and Oromila, your Ori is your Akashic records of your being, among many other things. Alafia Oba, the Akashic records of your being, among many other things. Oromila can read the Akashic records. So when you go and get an E5 divination, you are getting an Akashic records reading, meaning that you are getting the roadmap to your destiny laid out for you. This is where you currently are right now in this moment. Energy is in flux. This is where you are right now in this moment as I cast my Opoe light or pound my king. This is where you are right now in this moment. Energy is always in flux. You can change anything in a moment's notice. If you are currently, when I hear alignment, what I hear is, am I in flow with my favorite destiny? Or am I trying to manifest the aspect of my destiny that I'm going to dislike? That's going to be not great for me. All things are in the book of my destiny, good, bad, or indifferent. So, which one am I actively manifesting? My favorite destiny or some bull? That is what the divination tells you. And the answers coming through the divination are a conversation between Orumila and your Ori. So again, even when you get divination from someone else, you are not looking to that person to give you answers. They don't have your answers. You have them. But because you don't know how to fully access those answers, you go to a diviner who can then cast divination to get the message from your Ori that you may not know how to receive. You're still not looking for answers outside of yourself. You are getting someone to help you get the answer that is locked within that you simply don't yet know how to access. It's already there. The information is already yours. And that's why if someone gets a reading from me, especially their first time, especially people who come to me on the first go round, that's why they cry. They don't cry because I said something sad. They cry because for the first time, probably in ages, they clearly heard what their spirit has been trying to say to them for likely a long time, but they didn't know how to hear it. And that's okay. Understand, even though all human beings are psychic, not all human beings go to the spiritual gym. And if you're not raised in a household that teaches you that all human beings are psychic, you just have to trust and believe in your relationship with the Most High and just tap in, you're not going to know. And that's okay. But our ancestors understood that. That's why we have elders and priests and babalawos and ianifas to help us access our blueprint. The Most High, in all her infinite wisdom, said, I know that when I come down to earth, I put a veil of forgetfulness because I wanted to be fully immersed in the experience. But also in that immersion of the experience, I also understand that I might need help along the way. I might run into a few um, bumps along the way. I might run into a few headaches along the way. So instead of me letting myself, continue on this way, boom, because if Olodumare is not nothing, a master at delegation, because I'm going to say, like, I could do all this myself as myself, but instead I'm going to boom. So now I have all these different pantheons and all these different deities, and I'm going to give them all a job. And you got a job, and you got a job, and you got a job, and you got a job. And all of y'all's job collectively is to help make sure I, as these humans, don't muck it up. Don't make it up. And they put things in place to try to help let us know we have divine support and divine help in our path. But when you grow up in the diaspora where they have told you that your ancestors did not have a connection to God and that everything they did was evil, and then you start learning, well, that was probably a tactic to keep us under their thumb because they enslaved us, chances are you're going to be a little upset because now you're going to realize there are so many things that you could have known, but because you didn't, you're like, I need someone to blame. And I ask you to give your parents and grandparents grace. They knew what they were taught. They knew what they were taught. They knew what they were taught. And understanding that your ancestors, especially here in the States, you are on a plantation or on a piece of land or in a house with all these other folks. Y'all can't barely communicate. You don't understand the enslavers. You don't understand the folks that look like you in the place. How stressful would that have to be? They were just trying to survive. They were just trying to survive. And now we're now getting to a place where we can embrace those things. We can embrace those things because they're inherently in us. Like I'm Generation X. Um, my uncle, he is supposed to be going. Ironically, he discovered Orisha before me, and but he discovered it through Santeria, and so he's supposed to be going to make Santo, and he said something similar about my grandparents. He said he was angry at them for a while because he felt like they lied to him. I'm like, how can they tell you anything else if they don't know anything else? How can they tell you anything else if this is the only thing they know? If this is the only thing they know. And that's where, like, I'm not mad at my parents. I'm not mad at my parents. They knew what they knew. They knew what they knew. What I'm grateful for though is my parents taught me to think. And my parents taught me to ask questions and not to take everything at face value. Coupled with the fact that I am an Aquarius, I just can't. I gotta get to the root. I gotta get to the root of the thing. Like, why does this make sense to you? Like the idea that God would create Mother Earth and it's a beautiful wonder, but at some point, like I'm just going to be irritated and destroy it and blow it up. That sounds illogical. That sounds like a human. That sounds like human logic to me. That sounds like human logic. And until I find something that sounds like human logic, that sounds like I'm going to scare the shit out of you because that's the way I'm going to get you to do act right. I'm going to scare it out of you so that you act right. Get some act right about yourself because otherwise I'm gonna blow this whole up. That that sounds like some abusive parent. That sounds like a real abusive parent. And it sounds like that's giving everybody Stockholm syndrome. It's an abusive parent and they're giving everybody Stockholm syndrome. When I realized I have always believed in God, but I didn't have a relationship with God or not a healthy one. It was simply God sitting somewhere up in the sky and is waiting for me to mess up and I'm gonna get in trouble. And that was the way the relationship manifests. When 2020 rolled around and it's like, hey, I know you're 41 and all, but let's go ahead and have a spiritual awakening now. Whoa. My first mentor, who was not an Orisha practitioner, but she had gone through an awakening. And I could see it. I was watching their content and things like that. So I reached out because I saw they also did mentoring. I was like, help. I need somebody, help, not just anybody. And I told her, I was like, yo, this is what's going on. This is the kind of content I've been checking out, things of that nature. And so our first session, they asked me one of the most powerful questions I was ever asked. What do you want? Like this is happening. You're discovering all these things about spirituality and all this stuff. What do you want? And I sat there for a moment. I just want a relationship with God that where I don't feel like God hates me. Like that's it. That's what I want. I just want a relationship where I don't feel like God hates me. Somebody asked me on a live once, what did Ifa give me? I would say Ifa enhanced it, but I would say discovering that I can be religious outside of an Abrahamic system, spirituality coupled together with and founded on self love gave me God in a much more fulfilling and loving way. People will act like, you got to have this relationship with God. It's a whole. First off, God is not a stuffed shirt. And I choose not to have a relationship with God that looks like I'm sitting in a boardroom. I just won't. Or nor in some stuffy behind ceremony. Not that either. Some days I just want to sit and be like, Ayo. And I mean that in a very literal sense. Ayo, can we talk about it? Like, can we talk about it? Talk about it. Sometimes when I get a blessing, I'm like, oh, so you just showing out. Is it that's what you're doing today? You showing out today? Go ahead, show out, show off. Go ahead. What else can you do? Show off. Because that's my relationship. Because if nothing else, God wants me to be myself. If nothing else, if I don't do anything else, God wants me to be myself. And that is the only thing God wants. I am not in service to God because God already has everything. So, in what way can I be of service to God? God doesn't want me to be of service to God. God wants me to be of service to myself and vicariously of service to my fellow humans. That's all God wants. God wants to experience humanity as me. That's my service. God wants to experience humanity as me. God said, as you, I want to work this kind of career and wear these kind of clothes and have this kind of hair. And my service is to be exactly that. That's what my service is. My service to the Most High is to be the way the Most High wants to be as me. And Isese says, walk as you, walk in your truth. This is the thing that aligns you to your favorite destiny. This is the thing that aligns you to your E-ray, your good fortune. This is what aligns you to the blessings that you asked for before you were born. But when you're Black in America, you feel like this is box. And you this boxes that you're in is like, well, I can only no, it is not a coincidence because I know some people like, oh, I don't want to be called black because black is what? Black is what it looked like in the dark of the womb before you exited out. Black is what it looks like in the cosmos with the stars and the planets. Black is infinite possibilities. Black is a nurturing mother. What do you mean you ain't resonating with black? Black is the reason why us in the diaspora have not done what they thought we should do because at the end of the day, we are still resonating with the energy of the feminine, even if you don't realize it. We are able to create so many things that will have a lasting legacy across the world because being black is to be of made of infinite possibilities. To be black is to be born of infinite possibilities. I will always be black. I will always be infinite. Always. Always be infinite and boundless. So when I look at it, it's like the blackest thing I could ever do was to go to an ATR. The blackest thing I could do as a black woman living in the black African American diaspora is to go to an ATR. And it is mind-boggling to me for someone within the black diaspora at all to not realize the blackest thing you can possibly do is to look at the traditions and religions of your ancestors. And even if you didn't practice, learn, understand how those things may have shaped your experience in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Understanding the pouring of libations, that's the one I was going to do earlier. And like we got a song, my Generation X will remember this one. I pour the 40 for your memory. Take a drink and I start to think and I. That is pouring libations. You think because homies on the block, they pants sagging, they tapped into their answer, they tapped in even if it's not completely. That's why we can't help but do it. And like we're gonna pour libations, we're gonna pour 40 out, we're gonna do something. Okay, okay. When you look at dance, you look at the dance across the diaspora, and you can find a piece of a dance from somewhere on the continent. Our blood and our bones is where our ancestors live. They're still there, living within us. They're still there. And to be Black in America and to learn how to embrace that. They told you that your ancestors was evil, but they put their ancestors on a mountain. That don't seem sus to you. That don't seem sus. That's a whole ancestor altar that y'all go visit. Y'all go pay money to go see the ancestor altar. Y'all go visit. Oh, I'm gonna go see Mount Rushmore. That is a giant ancestor altar on stolen land. Y'all can't see that. Which one is the one that is it Abraham Lincoln? He's like sitting in a chair and like haven't been to DC, but so my brain is like it's not George. It's Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln Memorial, big giant ancestor altar. That's okay though, because he's not black technically. That's okay though. Okay, okay. But let LaShawn talk about she got a fireplace mantle with her grandma and them pictures on it, and she liked to put flowers up there and pour a little water for them and talk to them from time to time. You're talking to demons. Oh, is it because we're black? A disdain for ancestor veneration through a black lens is anti-blackness, and I will never not say that. That is internalized hatred for yourself, because you walk around with you can, like those who carry cash, you just walking around with little ancestor altars that you spend money that you use to get things. And you think about you think about ancestor veneration, you like go to your ancestors to help them, you know, elevate. But the part that you hear more often is like you ask your ancestors for help in a certain situation, help you get the blessings that you want, and money is a way to get the blessings that you want. And so the blessings are coming through the ancestors that are printed up on these ancestor altars that we call currency. But then we wonder, like, why they keep being successful? Where is karma? We keep feeding the positive karma because we give their ancestors more power than we give our own. We keep calling our own ancestors evil. We keep saying that we can't talk to our ancestors. They carry theirs around in their pockets. So being able to come to an ATR and learn how to reconcile. So when I got ready to initiate, I didn't hide the fact that I was learning about Orisha and Ifa and all these things from my friends. I told them, I was like, I don't know what's going on with me, but this is what I'm learning about right now, and this is what I'm reading right now. And yeah, I'm doing tarot and I'm doing all these things. And so when I got ready to initiate, my homeboy was like, "Hey, yo, I thought this was just going to be a passing hobby, but you're getting ready to go travel and initiate?" And he's like, "Well, how do you reconcile initiating into this religion when you grew up in this religion?" I said, "Oh, okay, that's easy. One, there is still but only one God in either case." He's like, "It's like there is only one God. The Orishas are not God. They are deities. They are divine energies. Like angels are deities, divine energies. Orishas are deities, divine energies. Neither of them are inherently God. They are an aspect of God, just like the interlude to the inter. The inter is God, source, all of them as one source, one creator, one almighty, one. All of these systems only have the one, with many faces, many aspects, many things of how that source manifests in the world. In the world, Craig. So understanding that everyone sees God in a thunderstorm. Some of y'all have had grandmas and things that say, "Better be quiet, God's working." Instead of saying God's working, somebody that practices an Orisha tradition might say Shango and Oya are outside dancing. It's not something different. It's just different language. It's the same thing, just different language. And so he's like, "Okay, I can dig it. I can dig it." So understanding that we have a relationship with this tradition, because if you are black in the States, understand chances are, if you took a DNA test, you are at least 20% Nigerian. Whether you're Igbo or Yoruba or any other Nigerian might be up for debate, but chances are you are at least 20% Nigerian. If you are someone with a high percentage of African genetics, you might be more. I'm almost 50% Nigerian. which is probably why so many of them fight over whether or not I'm Yoruba or Igbo or something else. Because I also very much still carry structure in things of my African heritage. I am over 90% African, 20% higher than the average Black American in the diaspora. I was just like, and all the people who used to say, "You really aren't Black enough." I am Black, y'all. I am Black, y'all. I'm probably more Blacker than you, and I'm Black, y'all. So, understanding these connections are there and being able to put the pieces together. Okay, this is this, like Ela. So often we do an invocation for Ela. Like, what's Ela? And it's the spirit of white light, purity, and manifestation. What would be the correlation? Y'all remember what y'all call the Holy Spirit? Energetically, that would probably be the closest thing to call Ela. Ela is the highest form of Rumila. So understanding it is the essence that, yes, go ahead, the essence of manifestation. It is the essence of that creative energy, that spark and purity. Because white light is where black is taking in infinite possibilities. I am attracting infinitely. White light is I'm reflecting infinitely. Both of them are infinite, they just manifest in different ways. What's your question? Crafted by Mookie. I hope I read that right because I'm confident I have at least one smudge on my glasses. Um, and Alafia to everyone that has come in. Alafia, Alafia, Alafia. Thank you for joining. Uh, oh, you want to ask a numerology question? I'm gonna answer that real quick, and then I'm gonna go back to the Orishas. Um, so if you are seeing angel numbers, chances are there's a divine energy of some make, shape, form, or fashion trying to get in touch with you. That it could just be the like, we're here, hey. It could be just enough to spark getting you to go digging and looking for more information. Angel numbers have basic baseline interpretation, but there is still what does that mean for you? So where someone else says 1111 means you should be making a wish. Cool. For me, I see all ones and I think of a couple of things. I think of Ogbe, which is open roads in alignment to destiny. I am a master number 11 life path. So I also think, again, going back to destiny, an alignment with my destiny. So I always tell people with angel numbers, do study and learn what the number vibrations actually mean, because when you see it more than once, it's a magnification of that energy. Two, pay attention to when it's happening. If it is supposed to be a synchronicity, it will coincide with a thought, feeling, idea, or something to that effect. Do that. If it's not coinciding with anything, that means it is a sign. A sign and a synchronicity. A synchronicity can be a sign, but a sign is not always a synchronicity. A sign is like, hey, look at me. So if you're getting that, but you can't put it with a thought or you can't put it with a feeling, then chances are it is simply just a, hey, look at me, because someone's trying to get your attention. And if you're not sure who, that is where you should go get a reading and say, hey, I think there's a spirit trying to get my attention and I'm trying to figure out who it is. And then you go to get divination, whether it's Ifa, a tarot reading, or something else. A diviner worth their salt will be able to tell you who or what's trying to get your attention. You're welcome, darling. Hope glad that was able to help you. And I received the blessings and light. I received that. Um, the other thing, I was going to make this a video for those of you in general, but heavy on the people in Black America. You will likely see, well, thanks for coming. People tell you you're not getting signs, you are not getting messages from the Orisha because you are not already attached to an Orisha tradition. And this is what I would like for you to consider when you hear that. Does it not sound the same as somebody saying you can't possibly have that prophetic dream because you're not a person of the cloth in church? It don't sound the same. It don't sound like someone in an Abrahamic tradition telling you can't possibly talk to God directly. You got to talk to God through so and so and so and so. It don't sound like that when you hear that, because that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they are still trying to keep God and the Orishas in a box. Understand, The way I would see that is if you feel like you are getting signs, symbols from the Orisha, then you do your spiritual due diligence and you get divination. You don't go running to act on it without at least some sort of spiritual guidance. And you need to get the spiritual guidance from somebody reputable. You don't just go running. Oh my God. Like, this is where you have to make sure you're not going into spiritual psychosis. I'm like, you get some help. The moment I realized something was going on, like I'm getting all these signs, these symbols, and things like that, I hadn't even yet realized I had started channeling, didn't know it. I went to get an elder. I went to get a mentor. And I know my Gen X folks, my latchkey people, my latchkey family come to the front of the congregation. Just because we had to do it alone doesn't mean we were supposed to. I just don't answer. Don't say, but I turned out okay. You really? Did you? Did you really? Did you really? Just because we had to go it alone doesn't mean that was what was supposed to be the case. If you look at every bit of African traditional hierarchy set up in the community, it is always community. There are always elders that you sit at their feet and you learn from and you get insight from. Latchkey kids, we were not supposed to go at it alone. So because y'all are waking up now, all of us are having this awakening in our 40s and whatnot, you're not supposed to go at it alone. You're not. You're not. There's a reason why we have elders, because they are there not to take our power to away. They are there to empower us. An elder that is actually worth their weight in gold will empower you, not take your power away. They will put you in position to be able to, at some point, be able to garner the wisdom directly yourself. Look, baby, I thought I did too. Um, they will put you in position to garner the wisdom yourself. And even when you're able to get the wisdom yourself, there are still going to be times that you need to go to an elder or go to a friend or go to somebody else to help you work through things, because sometimes you can be too close. Sometimes you can be too close to the thing in order to get it the way you need to get it. I am masterful at divination, period. It was funny at the Juneteenth festival yesterday, somebody came to my tent and she's asked me, did I have to be trained or did I already do it naturally? And I was like, do you mean divination or Ifa divination? Because those are two different answers. If you ask me, does divination as a whole, as a concept, come to me naturally? Yes. It is innate. It's innate. All of my clairs be on. Like Prince says, the mic is on. Um, when Prince says the mic is on, uh, that's how I feel. My clairs are on. My clairs are on. But Ifa divination, I had to learn how to use that tool. Just how I had to learn how to use runes, and I had to learn how to use I Ching, and I had to learn how to throw calorie shells. I had to learn how to use those tools. But the ability for me to sit in the stillness with intention and actively divine for someone with or without a tool, I can do, period. The tool is so the other person I'm divining for can see that it's coming through. That the visual aid is for the other person, not me. The visual aid is for the other person. It's not for me. Now, I will say, like throwing cards and things of that nature does keep me organized, because once I tap in, I'm gonna get all the like stay on topic. We're not talking about that over there. We're gonna stay here, stay right here. So it does help me stay on topic. But even with all of that, there was something going on over the last couple of days, and specifically Tuesday night. And so I asked my friend if he would divine for me. Not because I can't divine for myself, it's because I was emotionally too close to it. And also sometimes it's just nice to not have to do it myself. Like real talk, it's that some days I don't feel like it. Some days, you know what, cast for me. I could cast for myself, but I want someone else to do it for me. I want to be the receiver of the healing. I want to be the receiving of the healing. I want to be on the receiving end. Can someone cast for your girl? Can you go cast for me? So understand, and that's why I put that in there because I know there are people like, well, if you teach them how to do it, they're not going to need you. Who told you that? Lack? Because that sounds like lack to me. That sounds like fear that you're not going to be provided for because you teach it. I have a lineage. Check my man. I have a lineage of oracles. I have a lineage of oracles. What am I do? Stop them from being oracles? No. I'm trying to help them be stronger. I'm trying to help them be stronger. I'm trying to help them be stronger. I'll tell them to cast for me. And they'll be like, cast for me. I want you know what you know. Because I want them to be able to do what they need to do for themselves if I'm on vacation, if I don't feel good. I need them to be able to take care of each other. Yes, and sometimes there's always an extra little thing because you need it given to you in a specific way. And sometimes it needs to come through someone else's mouth because spirit doesn't speak to everybody in the same cadence, in the same way, all those things. Like people who say like their ancestors be cussing them out, I'll be like, are the Egungu or oral? Just wondering. Like, just wondering, because I don't get that. I don't get that at all. And I mean, I like at least one of my ancestors, I could easily see she a little fiery. I could see it coming through a little hot. It coming through hot. And it coming through hot. For me, it comes through the way it needs to come through. Rarely ever though is there any aspect of my spiritual court that has been like, I'm gonna cuss you out. No, what who does that? No. So being able to do that and garner what you need to do, but also understanding spirit gonna speak to you. Spirit is going to speak to you. I need you. You are probably spent much of your life thinking you are crazy. I didn't get that message. I didn't receive that premonition, and then to have someone else that is in the tradition basically still you tell you that you're crazy. You didn't get that dream. You didn't see that sign. You didn't see that without divining on it. It's one thing if you go for divination and the diviner says, oh, that is, this was that. Or they'll tell you, you know what? That actually what that was. Um, Content creator, Darcel Andre. If you haven't followed him, follow him. I love him. And he does more hoodoo and things of that nature. I happened to pop into a live randomly. At least in the moment, I thought it was random. I wanted to pop in and say, "Hey, what's up, my boy? How you doing?" I wanted to just pop in and say hi. When I popped in, the person he was reading, they were talking about Yemoja. This is significant because I am a priestess of Yemoja. So they're talking about Yemoja. And then I speak, I'm like, Alafia, hey. And he's like, at the moment, and I heard the music. I pop in, and the first thing I heard was her song. And then he's talking to this young lady about a dream she had. And he's like, and if you didn't need any more confirmation, she must have felt summoned. Because within seconds of me turning this song on, here comes a priestess of Yemoja to pop in. And I'm like, did you summon me? Oh God. Like I wondered, I'm like, I'm gonna pop into Darcel live like right now. Like I was getting on my way out the door. I popped into the live to listen to it in the car. That was her confirmation. She had been dreaming. And that's what her confirmation was. Another young lady popped into one of my lives, and we were talking about something else, and she ended up saying, like, wanting to ask a question about a dream. And I said, I'm going to do this on the fly for you, but I'm not reading you. I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting just based on what you said. And then she's like, I need to book a reading with you. And when she books the reading, she tells me that she had dreamt about Yemoja. And Yemoja told her that she would recognize, she said she will appear to her in her waking life, and she would recognize her when she saw her. And she also told me some other things about the dream that I could not have possibly known that I said on the live. Get your divination. If you feel like an Orisha has come to you in a dream, go get the reading done. Go get the reading done and say, hey, I need to know because this was my dream. And an elder that is truly for the tradition is not going to show you just because you got it in the dream and they never did. They're going to divine, and that is what's going to be the thing. And it doesn't always mean that the Orisha are calling. For my non-melanated folks, I have 2 goddaughters that are not melanated, but I have divined for many others. And it's funny because the last 2 folks that I divined for, it was really funny to me how it came through. Because, hey, sweet pea, it was really funny to me how it came through. The way it came through to me was that, yes, the Orisha had come to them, but not for her to practice Orisha tradition. She was focused on Orisha content. And her spirits were like, I'm trying to get her attention. Can you talk to her directly and guide her so that she'll get to me? So she would see me on TikTok and book a divination with me. And the irony is, because I have 7% Irish DNA, and I have always been drawn to runes. So I dabble in reading runes. So here I am doing my casting, getting the Odu. And then I'm like, and I was like, do you have Celtic? She's like, yeah, Celtic Norse. And I'm like, 1 second. I put my Okweli down, go run and grab my runes and cast runes for her. The Odu and the runes matched. The thing that the runes gave was like, this is your Celtic lineage trying to get you to work with them. The last woman who I had that happen to, Odin showed up. And I was like, I was like, oh, there he is. Hello, Mr. Wednesday. Odin showed up. Odin showed up. And I'm just like, hey, this is like, she's like, and it was interesting the way hers ended up like, she needs Hand of E5 to help her orient her, like her destiny, to get that oriented. But she's supposed to practice her Norse Celtic lineage. That's what's her full-blown practice supposed to be. The Hand of E5 is to help her orient her Ori and get that in alignment. But the deities that she's supposed to be working with full blown, and that's what I told somebody is the beauty about Isese and Ifa is not going to deviate you. It's not going to direct you against your ancestors. At least not the way I teach Ifa. I teach Ifa through the lens of self-love, and that includes ancestor veneration. And so it's been beautiful to see my godchildren pulling from their lineages and embracing all these various aspects of themselves, all these various aspects of their heritage. Hi, all these various aspects of that. And so get the divination and see why you're seeing Orisha. I will never tell you that because I dreamt about 6 of them first. It wasn't just one. I tell this story live all the time. I'm walking through a tavern in a dream. And there's an ice sculpture, and Oshun and Yemoja are hanging out by the ice sculpture. I'm pretty confident Ogun was behind the bar. And I'm just walking through, and it's all the Orishas. And I'm just like, I woke up confused. Like, why are all of you? It'd be one thing if one Orisha came to see me. Why are you all? Why are all of you here? Like it's a lot. There's a lot to come at one time. Why are you all here? Ah, okay. Why are you all here? All of y'all in one dream, bruh. Bruh. Okay. My second tarot deck was the Orisha Tarot, to go to the comment about them matching. I got the Orisha Tarot, and blessings to you. And that was part of what helped me to learn. And that's why I said at the beginning, a lot of us, because Orisha Tarot is a Lukumi based tarot deck. So a lot of us learn about Orisha through that lens. But then we go look, and most of them don't look like us, and they don't have our experience because it is an Afro-Cuban tradition. So being able to come to Isese through a Black American lineage will help you like put the pieces together in a way that works any different way. But I will say the correlation through the divination, I I'm an Aquarius, and I wanted to prove the oneness in things. I was like, I'm going to prove oneness. And so for 6 months after I initiated, after I made Ianifa, for 6 months, I divined every day. I cast every single day. But what I also did is I threw my cards, specifically my Orisha deck, to see if it would align to the Odu I got every time, every single time. It has not only happened with my Orisha deck, it happens with other cards. Spirit is going to speak to you. So even if in the moment you don't know that it's Orisha, don't think that they have not already been trying to get your attention. My favorite Babalawo is like, Eshu is no respecter of path. I'm such a horrible example of how to learn Odu because Odu came to me naturally. I am such a horrible person to ask because once I understood the 16 Megis, okay, hold on. Let me do this one. I have never had anybody ask me that question like this. So first learning the 16 Megis. Once I understood one, they were a flow, a journey, a story. That was part. It was like the way my brain synthesized the information. I synthesized it like an Aquarius. So it was like, okay, I understand. Once I understood that it's basically like this arc, and then it happens again, and then it happens again in that sequence. Then when you start to put them together in the Omo Odu, it made it even more like it's still that sequence. So I would say find the way Odu speaks to you. Find the Odu the way it speaks to you. I can't go off your name to tell if you're a womb holder or not. But for any womb holders in the space who also may have a similar question, um, it's a twin. It just means you have the same thing in both legs. So understanding that how the Odu is going to speak to you is going to vary. So for instance, I understand, I can hear her speaking quite literally. Quite literally. I hear her speak. I hear the womb of creation speaking when I cast Odu. I can hear her speaking and telling me what her child, the Odu on the mat, is trying to tell me. So I hear her speaking. So the first thing I do, and I divine somewhat like my godmother. I'm not divining right this second. Talking about in general when I am divining. So I divine very much like my godmother. My godmother, before she went to any stories, anything like that, she channeled. She could hear Odu. So that's where I started to listen to Odu. What is she saying to me? What is she trying to say to me? Then I looked at what the Odu means in a general sense. Isese is a religion, but it is also an African spiritual science. So then you have, what does this aspect mean and this aspect mean? Then I look at how it fell. what's on the right, what's on the left. Then I look at what's on the top, what's on the bottom, what's on the sides. So being able to actually understand the Odu on multiple levels. Then I go to Etans. Then that whole thing gives me a full picture. Then the whole thing gives me a full picture. So that's why I say I'm a horrible person to ask, because of the way I understand Odu. I understand Odu as a multiple dimensional thing. And so that's how I divine. I multiple dimension. Oh, I'm an Ianifa. I cast Ifa with Opole or Iki. Kind of depends on why I'm casting. And occasionally I do Mirandela Lagoon and or just basic four shell calorie divination. I divines, period. All of them. I know every form of Orisha divination. Um, Alafia Ia Jesse. Exactly. Once you figure out how Odu speaks to you, that is how you will learn how to divine Odu as the diviner. But you have to learn how Odu speaks to you. If you don't know how Odu speaks to you, that's what's going to be the challenge. So once you like, that's why I said I divined every day for like 6 months. And even then, as of late, I have developed even more nuance to how I divine. So it's like all the layers, all the things, all the layers, all the things. Um, yes, how do they speak to you? I'll tell y'all a funny story. So I have a friend who's a Babalao, and he and I will be talking, and we'll be talking about, casting and things of that nature. You're so welcome. And he was picking at me because I always cast a Meji. And he's like, how are you doing that? Do you have a loaded Opwele? How did you load your Opwele? And the reason why this is significant for those that don't understand, there are 256 Odu. So I just want you to think about the law probability. There are 256 Odu. Of the 256, only 16 are Mejis. So there are 256 Odu, only 16 are Mejis. So for those of you who like to do math, you can figure out the probability of casting a Meji would be lower than not. So if it is a less probable for you to cast a Meji, and the fact that it is more likely for me personally to cast one than to not, I feel like it's not that often. I feel like I'm like 50-50. But in certain situations, yeah, like especially if I'm on a roll or like Ita Dogun or something, I think I got two. I think my temple got two Magis, two Ita Dagoon cycles in a row, and I'm just like. But this is how I feel about Magis. Magis are the primary, primordial energy of the whole Odu. So for people who don't understand Odu in that concept, tarot, you have the major arcana and the minor. The Magis would be major arcana. So when you cast in a divination and you get a major arcana card, you understand there is a large, potent energy that is getting ready to take place. That's what I see when I see a Magi. If I cast a Magi as opposed to an Oma Odu, I'm like, what y'all got going on? What's happening? What's happening? Why am I getting a Magi? Then if I get one oh snap. So every time he and I talk, it'd be like he sat in one of my ceremonies, he's like, did you get a Meji again? Because I wouldn't say the Odu, and I'm just like, huh? What did you get? Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. So he used to pick at me because it happened with my Opwele. Then it started to, but I'm like, it's not just my Opwele, it happens with my Ikin too. And he's like, how you get load your Opwele and you, they're not loaded, man. They're not loaded. I don't know why I get Megis that way until now. So I wish I remembered which Odu it was, but I can tell you the story from the Odu. I asked Ifa because at this point, it's like, why am I able to get a Meji like this? The probability of being not, not like my Ashe is like I got that. That's the Ashe. I don't know what to tell you, sir. She got a stank on it. But I asked Ifa. I cast on it. I said, what is my relationship with Odu? The reason why I keep getting Megis all the time. And so the Odu comes through, and the first Itan in the Odu is a story about Obatala. And so Obatala's apprentices, there had been um, there was parties going on, and Obatala goes. And Obatala is at the party, everybody's having a good time. Obatala leaves his crown. So, but the first one of his apprentices is like, oh snap, Obatala must have been drinking. That's why he left his crown. Invokes all the Orishas, like, yo, Obatala got drunk again. He left his crown. Obatala comes, gets the crown, doesn't say anything else, heads out. Next one comes through. Next party, everybody's chilling, everybody having a good time. Bow, 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 bow. Party ends, Obatala's crown is still there. Comes on through, like, hey, calls all the Orisha. Obatala got drunk again. His crown is here. Obatala comes to get the crown. Doesn't say anything else. Please. So then the last apprentice, which this is the only one who I remember because that's the aspect of the Odu, the Itan I resonated with. Palm fronds is the last apprentice. So party happens. Everybody's pop, 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 pop. And then Obatala leaves his crown. Palm frond sees the crown and says, hey, yo, I think Obatala was like having a really good time. And he left his crown. So could you just let him know that it's here? So when Obatala comes to get the crown, he gives the crown to the palm fronds. And that's why palm fronds are so sacred within the tradition. And the lesson in the story is, first and foremost, just because someone made a mistake one time doesn't mean that's always going to be who they are. People learn from their mistakes. The other piece of this is kidding someone out the box. The fact that Obatala is seen to be serious and all these things, and indicating that Obatala could not possibly just be having a good time, having fun without the use of some other sort of stimulant or things of that nature, indicates they have a narrow vision of Obatala. So for this divination, when I asked the question, my relationship to Odu, I'm the palm fronds, Obatala is Odu. And so my relationship to Obatala is I can see Obatala completely. Not in a box. I see Odu completely. Not in a box. So I let Odu speak the way that she's trying to, as opposed to trying to force a message that does not apply in the scenario. Hi. Like that's my friend Zobatala. Like so I was like, I understand because I don't see the Orisha that way. That's why when I said earlier, it is taboo in my lineage to call Eshu a trickster. You are not allowed to say that in my lineage. You're just not. Ain't a single person in my temple or my close my door.
Having fun.
Yes. Thank you. There's not a single person in my temple to say that. And the reason why is because Eshu gives us the path. We still got to choose it. We still got to choose the path. And if we choose the wrong path, that's on us. That's not on him. Because we got all the signs and synchronicities to tell us to go the other way. We still not listening. We still being hard-headed. But no, because you want to have a big guy. You want to have a big guy, then so like even with us trying to like learn and embrace all the Orishas, like don't take everything you hear at face value. Allow the Orisha to come to you No. I said no.
No iPad.
I didn't tell you no iPads. You need to ask your aunts about the iPads.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, so now matching.
no.
Now matching.
Go talk to your auntie.
Talking auntie.
Yes.
Good dance, please.
When I'm done.
Yeah.
Yes. Close my door. Thank you.
Ah.
Hi. Um, but I tell them that for all the don't keep them in a box. Don't leave the old do in the box. Allow it to live and breathe. Allow it to live and breathe and grow and expand and understand it has to. And when people say, well, this is understand the like real talk, tradition is oral. It's supposed to change. Otherwise, it wouldn't be tradition, it'd be dogma. See the difference? Even look the word up. It says it's oral by nature. That means it is subject to the telephone game. Understanding, even to go to the thing about the Orishas and dreams, from what I know, there's an Orisha whose mystery of initiation had been lost in Cuba. And a priestess had a dream, and the initiation process was given to her. You don't think they don't you don't think they're doing that anymore? Talking to people in dreams? No? Or because it doesn't benefit you? I just understand. I just want to understand. Like I just want to understand. You think Oludumare just said, you know what? I'm just gonna let this tradition die. No, the mysteries are going to live on to those that are meant to receive them and those meant to be experiencing them. And understanding that if you are, you know, not in a place where Orisha is for you, but that's who you see, that's because that's who you're open to seeing. But if you go get divination, they'll tell you, like, it's not the Orisha, it's the Loa, or it's not the Orisha, it's the like such and such a thing. Like understanding who it is that is trying to get in touch with you. And sometimes it's absolutely Orisha. And sometimes it is. But you won't know unless you ask. You won't know unless you ask. And you have to trust the person that you're going to for divination. I am a firm believer of vetting elders and diviners. Vet them. Start with just watching their content. How do they talk? What do they teach? Does it resonate with you? And you'll know. You'll know. Does it resonate with you? If you're looking for an elder, if you're looking for an actual elder, can you learn from them? If they make a piece of content and they're supposed to be teaching something, did you learn it? Did you actually learn what they were trying to teach? If you didn't learn it, that might not be your teacher. It might not have anything to do with the way that they teach. You aren't their student, and that's okay. And that's okay. But I am a firm believer if they are trying to scare you, if I had someone, a former student, and they were like, they told me Oshun was going to be angry with me. And I'm like, when did they bring Abrahamic God into this? Because the only angry God is the Abrahamic one of the Bible. That's it. That's where the angry God lives in the Bible. And so if it's not of the Bible, the angry God's not there. You can leave it in the Bible. I love you, sis. You can leave it in the Bible. You can leave the angry, wrathful, jealous God in the Bible. You can leave him there. Thank you for the glitter patches. You could absolutely leave him right there. You don't have to bring him into ATR. You don't have to do that. You do not have to bring him into ATR. There are moments where you might do something and your spiritual court, and I'm talking about not just Orisha, I'm talking about ancestors and the like, are like, God dang, homie, why you do that? They're not mad at you, they're disappointed. They're not mad at you, they are disappointed. Please leave the angry, wrathful God out of your practice. If you are leaving Abrahamic tradition, then leave it. If you're, and I know that deconstruction process is not a one overnight thing, but recognize when you are bringing your Abrahamic wounds into your African practice. And this is not just about Isese, this is Isese in any of her offspring. This is voodoo in any of her offspring. This is hoodoo. Do not bring the wounds of your Abrahamic practice in there. Allow your African heritage practice to be that. The angry, wrathful, I'm gonna, who hurt you? Respectfully, who hurt you? Leave that there. Allow them to manifest the way they need to. And if you are trying to, if they are trying to scare you into, and that's the other thing, like they scare you into being good. Don't, it's ridiculous to think that you newly embracing a heritage is going to do something that, oh, now I'm mad at you. No, 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 no. And that will keep people away when we do that. I had a, I was invited on a podcast, and the host is talking to me, and we're talking about my relationship with Ifa and the tradition and things of that nature and what I love about it. And she said, I wish I had met you years ago. That part. She said, I wish I had met you years ago, because she said the first person to talk to me about Orishas and the tradition had me shook. And so I didn't want anything to do with it. And that's why I went to more Egyptian Kemetic tradition. And there's nothing wrong with her doing that, but it made me so, like, I was really physically sad to hear her say, had she met me first, she probably would be practicing Ifa, because someone came to her and gave it to her in a way that was so nasty and so ugly that she didn't feel like there was going to be anything in it for her. And I'm like, and I don't practice Santeria, but the first time I hear somebody say, oh, well, they talk about evil Santeria stuff, what makes it evil? What makes it evil? Well, like they be having the candles of the saints and everything. What makes it, help me? Tell me the thing that makes it evil. Well, they be using it. Bad people are in every religion. There are people of every religion, every practice who are going to, you know, Spider-Man's uncle told him, with great power comes great responsibility. So understanding that there are people who are going to wield the power the way they're going to wield it, it doesn't make the whole of the religion negative in most cases, except maybe, sorry, I'm gonna stop being petty. Um, but understanding there are plenty of beautiful, I like my uncle is one, beautiful, and my auntie, practitioners of Santeria. Plenty of them. Plenty of them. What I love is that the moment I told him I was an Ianifa, he didn't tell me I couldn't possibly be one. That, look, he's like, you can't be one. Just because they don't do that doesn't mean that another tradition doesn't do that. But it doesn't make the whole, it's like, throw the whole religion away. I don't feel that way about 90% of the religion systems that are African, indigenous, or the otherwise. So understanding that when you come across content creators and they're speaking about the religion and it sounds like a dumpster fire, or it sounds like angry or fearful, that Abrahamic energy is still present. This is not a dig at them. It is just a fact. Because when you read in the Eton, there isn't anything in the Odu that says an Orisha is going to be mad at you. Like not a one. There isn't one. Not a one. That means that was a human inserting human ego into a place it don't belong. Human ego has been inserted in a place where it was not invited. And be gentle with yourselves as you are trying to walk in that light and things of that nature. Us in Black, we have a lot of healing in the States for us to do. But what I can tell you is E5 says it's important. What I got, the reason why I had to start making sure that in my content, I said I have a Black American temple that practices Isese. That I am a Black woman born and raised in the South, initiated into the tradition as an Ianifa, birthing this lineage. Because Black Americans of the African American diaspora coming into ATRs in general, I don't think it's limited to just Isese, but ATRs in general. I have a goddaughter that lives there. I have a goddaughter that lives there. Um, there's healing medicine. I'm gonna do a blog. I might do a live too for people who don't like to read. But I'm gonna do a blog about the Odu that came through from Ile Ife. Um, Agbo Ato. If you don't want full blown divination, but you know you want to talk to me longer than 15 minutes, then I would to uh the one question, if you go to the link in my bio, there's a link that's there's one an option that's just like a one question cast. I'd book that one. You still get about an hour of time with me, and then you can just ask me questions. And then if you end up feeling like you need me to divine on something, you at least get one question in that time frame. So that's the one that I would choose. Um, so, but there's healing that's trying to happen. Couple of highlights from the Odu that really stuck out to me were the relationship between couples. It said men and women, but don't limit it to men and women, like couples, period. And one of the things was like about women and women needing to, if you make more money, accept it. If you make more money in your relationship, just simply accept it. Pay, do what you got to do, pay the bills. And why is that? Because every time I hear somebody talk about, especially Black, I want a traditional relationship. Whose tradition? What do you mean? I want a traditional marriage. Whose tradition? Because are you trying to look at Massel's house? You want your house to look like Massel's? Because if you really think about it, math ain't work either. Math ain't work. Math ain't work either. Math ain't work. You still trying to look at Massel's house. He was in charge, but he ain't work. He didn't work. So what? Whose relationship model are you trying to emulate? Because pre-colonization, husband goes, all the other fellas, they go out and they acquire things. They hunt, they gather, they acquire the things. But the things are simply just things in their hands. They are not goods. They are simply just things. They come home to their wife. And then they come to their wife, and the wife turns them into goods. They go get the things, wife turns them into goods. And then wife goes to work. She goes to the marketplace. And it's crazy because some of y'all have actually seen videos and things of this. It's not men in them stalls, it's women. So they're doing the things and they're making the money. Husband is not there. She's doing the things and making the money. Sometimes she even has the kids with her. She's doing the things and making the money. So who's paying the bills? Who's divvying up the money? Again, whose relationship dynamic are you trying to emulate? Whose relationship are you trying to emulate? Because it can't be your tradition. And that's why it don't always work. You trying to make a relationship dynamic work that is not genetically encoded into you. You keep wondering why Black women are starting to make more and more money, even though they don't pay us as much as they pay other men and anyone else, but they're still trying to, like, right, exactly. It was their houses and their business. And they're sitting there and you're like, why do they keep making all this money? Why do they keep, they're supposed to. to. That is the way it is supposed to be. So when we get an Odu with an Eton that says, chill out, make more money. However, in making more money, don't throw that shit in that man's face. What's wrong with you? Because that's the other piece. There's the shadow aspect of it that Ifa has already indicated would likely be the case. Why are you throwing it in his face? Just make the money. Because if you're throwing it in his face, chances are there was something else already wrong and you shouldn't have been there anyway. Because otherwise, just make the money, secure the bag, get the bills paid, have him come show up in other ways. If you are meant to show up as the baller, taking care of the bills, paying all the things, that means he is meant to play a different role in the household, but y'all are still partners. So the other piece of it was when you're getting ready to make big expenditures and things of this nature, have a conversation because y'all are still a couple, you're still a unit, you're still a team. You're still having the conversation. It is not about him going to work. It is about what are y'all doing together as a household and how do you both contribute to the household. And I think that alone, especially with some of these conversations and some of these folks on these podcasts and the things, and thank God that mess doesn't always pop up in my feed like it does in some of y'all. But there's a healing Ifa is trying to bring to specifically the Black American households, like specifically, so that y'all can stop running around doing this thing. And it's not even 50-50. It is 100-100 always. It's not 50-50. Everyone is giving 100% of what they have to give. It's 100-100 always. Then they talked about illness. So my brothers, I don't know how many men folks, but especially my men folks, y'all got to take care of yourselves. Everybody needs to take care of themselves. I need y'all to take care of yourselves. I need y'all to take care of your health. Alafia, thanks for joining from Nigeria. Y'all have to take care of yourselves. Like real talk. Like Ifa has like hear me good. Y'all have to take care of yourselves. Y'all have to take care of yourselves, bruh. And not only do you have to take care of yourselves, listen to your lady. Listen to your lady. And for all of y'all that's single, if you got a bestie, because it's not always literal, so everybody ain't married, but chances are, if you got a best friend that's the feminine woman, please listen. You sitting around, walking around, coughing and stuff, trying to be Superman. I don't take medicine. And she'd be like, well, drink this tea. Drink the tea. Drink the tea. She's trying to save your life, stupid. Drink the tea. She's trying to save your life. Because at that moment, you ain't drink the tea. Drink the tea. All of y'all need to eat your fruits. Eat the fruit. Eat the fruit. Eat the fruit. Please eat your fruit. Please eat your fruit. Because I would really love it if y'all were here for a while. Like he'll do the things that you need to do. After I make the blog, I'll decide if I'm going to do a live and talk about the Odu. But I was like, there is medicine trying to be infused in the Black community that is going to restore so much balance within each other. Like this healing is not meant just to be for people who are married or in committed relationships. This is for Black people, period. What do you want in a relationship? How do you want to show up in a relationship? What kind of relationship dynamic do you want? Are you actually monogamous? Are you trying to pretend to be monogamous for society and you're really poly? And if you are really poly, can you be honest about it? Because if you're not being honest, you're not walking in your Iwa Pele, period. If you are not being honest about who you are as a person existing, you are not walking in alignment. You are not walking in alignment with your destiny. Be who you are. Your blessings can't recognize you when you're trying to be someone else. When you're trying to be someone else, you are not walking in alignment with your destiny. You're walking in someone else's destiny. I need you to get back over here, get back in your own book. You're trying to be in somebody else's book. You're trying to be a supporting cast member in somebody else's book when you're supposed to be the star of the show in yours. That was good. That was good. That was real good. You're trying to be a supporting cast member in somebody else's book, but you're supposed to be the star in yours. And you can't be the star when you're trying to be somebody else. Honor who you are. Honor who you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Honor who you are. And the things that you think are ugly, chances are not as ugly as you think they are. Chances are like a little tweak, a little illumination, and it's a superpower. A little tweak and illumination, it's a superpower. You have to do that. And I hit an hour and a half, and I'm gonna leave y'all with a thought on a couple of things. One, if you before I do that, before I shift gears, if you are black in the States and you know Orisha is calling, and you're just looking for a lineage that you can call home, start looking for an elder in the States that resonates with you, because we're here. We're here. I don't know a lot of us. Like real talk, in terms of an Isese, in terms of Isese here in the States, where it is a Black American lineage, myself and three Babalawos, there has to be more of us. There has to be more. And if there's not, okay. But there's at least four of us. I don't know any other Ias. I know plenty of Ias whose lineage truly is Yoruba lineage. Like they go to Nigeria and initiate. But if you're looking for like, we got anything here for us? And if you want a Babalawo, I know a couple. I could give you some names. I could absolutely give you some names. Um, and it's like recognizing that we're here and you deserve to be embraced in a lineage that sees you for who you are and does not try to make you be anything else. Who sees you for who you are and only seeks to illuminate your favorite destiny and help you to walk in it. That's what you deserve. You deserve that. And recognizing that in that, the drawing, the ability for you to draw in those blessings and things that maybe you haven't been able to see because the only thing you see is our Black American experience, you can get that. Like, you can get that. And it ain't always going to be perfect. And things like that are going to be, they're going to be things. Things I can tell you is that, and maybe some of my godchildren might confirm, I didn't have this big old, like, oh my God, everything's destroyed post initiation. I went through it beforehand. My shedding happened beforehand. So I got to the mat like, I'm good. And even with my job of 10 years, which was paying me good money, good insurance, being laid off from that, I am still in my home. This is the house I was in when I got laid off. And 2 years later, I'm still in this same house. And the only thing, by and large, consistently that I have been doing is Ifa. It's like you're gonna be a full-time Ianifa. What? That's what you're gonna do. You are a full-time Ianifa. I am a full-time Ianifa. That is what I do. I'm like, what do you do for it? I am a full-time Ianifa. That is what I do. That's what I do. And I love it here. Over here. So I'm gonna leave y'all with something else because I was gonna record this video and I said I'll throw it in the live. I saw a post. I don't remember. I know it's on Facebook. I just don't remember who posted it, and it doesn't matter. This says, "I am not. Don't let your emotions control you." And so this is what I'm going to leave you with. And I want to do this for Black people because I feel like that is such a harmful statement to make to Black people. It's such a harmful statement to make to Black people. So, first and foremost, you are a human being. You are a human vessel in this moment. You got the five senses and all the things happening right now because you are in a human vessel. So, because you're in a human vessel, you are meant to experience your human experience through your senses and your emotions. That is how you experience humanity. You experience humanity through your five senses, the elevation of those senses through the psychic senses, and your emotions. I looked up the etymology and just to prove it, like I really did, like I took notes. The etymology of emotions. And when you look at the word, it comes from movement. And so it's funny because people say like emotions are energy and motion. They're not technically wrong. They're technically not wrong because the etymology of the word is a social moving, stirring, or agitation. From the old French word émouvoir, which means stir up, in Latin, emovere, which means move out, remove, or agitate, meaning this feeling is supposed to stir something up. This feeling is supposed to agitate. This feeling is supposed to help you to move or remove something. So when you talk about one controlling your emotions, well, you got to control how you feel. Then you are negating part of your human experience. You are supposed to feel what you feel so that you know what to do. They are a message. The emotion is a message. When you negate the reception of the message, you are missing out on key information to help you to align to your destiny. You need to get the message, which means sometimes you're going to feel sad or angry or frustrated or desolate or the multitude of things that make up our emotional body. You're supposed to feel the feels. Now, what you're not supposed to do is feel everyone else's feels. You can be aware and not feel. Those two things are not synonyms. You can be aware of other people's feelings and not feel and experience their emotions. You could just simply get a hint like this person is feeling such and such a thing without absorbing their feelings. But for yourself, you're supposed to feel it. Why? Because then the process begins to happen. I feel happy. What made me feel happy? Well, I was doing such a thing and I experienced great happiness. So then this is telling you to do more of that thing or similar things to that thing if you want to feel happy. I feel sad. What wants to happen when you're sad? You want to cry. What is this? This is a healing process. This is your body trying to remove the energy from your body that is causing the sad feelings. Everything that's trying to exit your body is supposed to go. Everything that is actively trying to get out. So you think about tears, sweat, all of these things. When they're trying to go, they're supposed to leave. There is a purpose to the evacuation process your body's trying to. The same thing goes when you're happy and you're like having a good time and you're laughing and giggling. That is supposed to come out. That energy is supposed to come out your body. When you are sad and you want to cry, you're supposed to let that out your body. When you're angry and you tell someone, this made me angry, you're supposed to communicate that. They violated a boundary strong enough for you to go from sadness to anger. It's supposed to leave your body. Now, if you say don't be mindful of how you react in your emotional state. Okay, cool. Feel the feeling, but don't do something stupid. Don't do some cuckoo for cocoa puffs because you got a feeling and it wasn't nice. This is where having a spiritual practice comes into play because then, especially if you have an elder who helps you talk through things like that, you will recognize when you are in a certain emotional state and come backwards. Tuesday, Tuesday, I had a moment. I don't often. I'm doing better about standing up for myself. But when it comes to my sons, both of my sons are on the spectrum. And I'm raising young Black men in Black America. And you know what I'm not going to raise? Unemotionalist husks. So my sons are encouraged to feel whatever they need to feel in the moment. And you are not allowed to tell my sons not to feel, nor are you allowed to tell my sons not to show how they feel. That's what we're not ever going to do. And someone in particular, I allowed it to go by one too many times, them telling my son not to cry. And Tuesday which for those of y'all in the tradition know that was O'Shea E. Rinley. And I am a woman king of Shango. And I just crowned Oya. What did you say to my son? Stop telling my son not to cry. But it was a lot more thunder in it on Tuesday. And it was like the right day, right time. But what I know is the volume of rage, I wasn't angry. I flew into a rage. And that is because I don't let myself express anger enough. I don't let myself express anger nearly enough. That's why there's a room where I don't get angry because I don't express it. I feel it. Oh, yeah. But I don't express it, not the way that I should. And so then when it finally is where the lid's gonna pop off, it does all the way off. And then I feel physically in my body the result of having held in such energy without letting it go. You gotta let those emotions be expressed. You just simply need to be mindful of how you express them. You could tell somebody and negate the expectation that they're going to accept how you feel and do something to change their behavior. That's not why you express the emotion. You express the emotion so it's out your body. Hey yo, that really that pissed me off. And understand your emotions are holy. Like I always see these people like, well, this is a low vibrational emotion. God gave you all them emotions. Every one of them, the full spectrum of emotions came from God. Because God said, I want to feel feelings while I'm in the human body. Cuckoo. So you just looking for it. Like to me, I feel like that is just another way to tell somebody they're not spiritually good enough. That's the way I feel about it. The way that it is used is like if you still feel anger, you can still low vibrational. You ain't raised your vibration yet. No, I still feel anger because I am Black and American. I keep having to watch my kids be unalived on TV. I'm still angry because I'm Black in America and we ain't got reparations yet, and we still trying to figure out how to buy them groceries in the refrigerator. Um, if you can,
Next chapter. Don't forget to comment on
okay, out. Thank you.
Happy fun.
Thank or something. If you know who it was, you already know how they reacted. If you have a guess at who it was, Ia, you already know. You already know. Thank you. They didn't care. But you know what they were when they came back to my house? Quiet. What they were when they came back to my house was quiet. Because that's what we're not going to do. Sorry, y'all trying to plug my charger in. There we go. What they was is quiet when they came back to my house. Because that's what we're not going to do. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. You can be emotionless all you want to. I can't do nothing about you. Ignore my laundry, y'all, on Facebook and YouTube. Just don't be looking at my laundry. Where's it at? Don't be looking at my laundry. Um, but my sons are not going to be emotionless. They are going to feel. And if he need to cry, he gonna cry. He gonna cry. So that's my message to y'all: is feel how you need to feel, brothers, menfolk, any of my menfolks. I would like to see y'all be 90 and 100 years old. I want to see a random post of a Black man in America and he has lived to 100 and something years old. But in order for that to take place, a few things have to change. One, you have to shake off all these mantles that have been attached to y'all since slavery. You're not supposed to be carrying them. Those weights no longer belong to you. Let them go. Let them go. Feel how you need to feel. Emote. Emote. Emote to your homeboys. Emote to somebody, but emote. Cry. Scream. Yell. Emote. Feel your feelings. So many of y'all are emotionally constipated. Y'all are emotionally backed up. And then you wonder why it's so hard for you to let the feelings out because you're emotionally constipated. You need to take an emotional laxative. Reiki or some other channel energy work might be the thing. The last couple of people I've done, I had them scream. I had them scream. And then I made them cry. And I just held them while they cried. The most powerful one, for me, it's always the black men. And black men, that's what they come to me for. Black men, I don't have any black men that are my God's sons, but I have black men that come to me for the medicine of Ifa, just in different ways. And so I do a channeled energy session where I do divination plus energy work. And the last one I did, being able to hold him, where he just was able to let go of walls, chains, and things around his heart and just feel in that moment and know that he was safe in his feeling. All I could do was cry. All I could do was cry because I want that for my brothers. I want them to feel like they can feel the way they need to feel because that is the only way that they will be able to. I see posts all the time of black women and they're 100 or something years old and things of that nature. Both of us have stress, but we, at least most of us, let ourselves feel. And somewhere along the way, someone told y'all you still had to hide how you feel. That was a defense mechanism that your ancestors had in place to protect them when they were being beaten. You don't have to be happy being beaten. You don't have to be happy being beaten. You don't have to be happy with the way the gas prices look. You don't have to put that face on. It's okay for you to be hurt. It's okay for you to have a bad day. It's okay. And being able to have a space to do that and understanding, like, to bring it all together, if you are not honoring your emotions and how you feel, you are not walking in your Iwapele. You are not walking in alignment with your destiny. You can't possibly, because you're not doing anything with the emotions. You're stuffing them in your back pocket, putting them on the back burner, and then you wonder why your blood pressure look like hot boiled trash. Why my ex blood pressure 199 over 100 something? Sir, I'm going to need you to sit down someplace. And I mean, he's like, yo, I wanted a diet thing, yada, 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 yada. I'm like, okay, but whenever you're ready to catch these hands, whenever you are ready to catch these energetic hands, come on to the house. Come on to the house. Come cry a little bit. I ain't gonna cry. Is that a challenge? I feel challenged, sir. Come on to the house. You're not gonna cry? Come on then. Come on, Cletus. Come on. Come through. Look, I'll give it to you pro bono. Come catch this pro bono energy work so that you stay here. You done already had one mini stroke. Do you want another? What is going on with you? Y'all have to feel. Y'all have to feel. And I'm telling y'all from experience. When I tell you I closed the door and cried so hard on Tuesday. My folks that were in the Odu session probably don't even realize that just 45 minutes prior, I was just sitting in here wailing, crying, and sobbing. Wailing, crying, and sobbing. And for the first time, I said I was angry. For the first time in a really long time, I was like, I am angry. I am so freaking angry. And then I had to let myself scream because I was really angry. Really, really angry. And I don't let myself feel the anger. But I know it's there because when my dreams, if y'all been in my lives before, y'all done heard about dreaming. Dreaming has time and hands rated E for everybody. Dreaming, no one would ever tell me in my dream realm that I don't get angry. It's the way she gets angry. Like, I'm gonna put this rat tail comb, and not the plastic joint, the metal one with the metal tip. I'm gonna punch this through your, and then I'm going to ancestralize you because balance. I'm going to come to your thing dressed in white because balance. Because balance. Hi. Because balance. So I know the rage is there. I be acting it out in the astral. The rage is there. I just wait till I get in the astral realm. One of the last dreams I had, somebody said something real slick to me in the dream. And I'm like, do you know who I am? And before they could come close, whoop, the inner wall. So dream be ready. Real, like, I am, I'm not sure which one of them it is, but I know in my waking life, I'm very much the quiet Watala in my waking life. I'm like, so you say you did what now? Thank you for the tiny tiny. You say you did what now? Okay. Swallow, breathe. Anger has been put in the my little jar of where I put anger. I don't let it out. So after Tuesday, blowing up and then coming in the house with a splitting headache and my chest hurting, and being someone that has to work. Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of me and Shambo, thank you. The pain in my heart, the pain in my head, the pain in my body, I said, you know what? That's the last time I do that. So I have a plan for myself personally on what I'm going to do in a healthy way to get all the rage out. Because at this point, it's been held in too long. It's no longer anger, it's rage. So I'm going to go, I know what I'm going to do to get the rage out in a healthy and safe way. And then I'm, making a promise to myself that when I'm angered, just say something. I don't have to full blown pop off because real talk, nobody wants that. But I will at least say, hey, I didn't like that. Let's not do that. Blah, blah, blah. Something to indicate that I am acknowledging and feeling the anger so that I can get underneath it to where the sadness is and move past it. And so that's what I want for y'all so that we can lower our blood pressure. Because some of y'all, when y'all looking at your blood pressure and that systolic is high and not your diastolic, guess what? That's not about your diet. That's your lifestyle. That diastolic be looking a little normalish. It be a little high, but not like that systolic. The systolic be off the chain. It's your lifestyle. It's your lifestyle. You have to do some things to release stress, and that means getting the emotions out your body. Also, understand y'all can catch these hands virtually. Y'all can catch them virtually. I do offer that session virtually because distance Reiki is a thing. And I'm effective in person or from a distance. And if any of my God kids is in the room, they'll tell you I am effective from a distance and in person. From a distance, the world looks blue and green. You go get the medicine, however you need to get it. So I'm gonna take five. I'll say 5 to 10, and do questions. Any questions? Any questions that y'all have for me? Questions, comments, or emotional outbursts. We'll take all of those. Questions, comments, and or emotional outbursts. And one time for the number of viewers in my live, I know y'all might have all these people y'all follow and they got like thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. And so their lives always got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I'd be happy with my double digits. I'd be happy with my double digits because truth be told, I have to say this the right way because otherwise my godchildren will tell me I'm trying to play small, and that's not what I mean. I don't need the notoriety the way some of these mediums have. They got the Netflix specials and things like that. I don't need that because I'm still black, practicing the black tradition. And there is a that message is for me, and I don't like that. Like, okay, so let me tell you why I say this. Let me tell you. Let me just tell you. Just all right. So yesterday at the Juneteenth festival, I said it, but I don't think it hit the way that it planted a seed. But I don't know if anybody got it directly. Because one of the things I said in calling the ancestors and things like that is I said, while y'all going to visit these plantations, what about you pray so that the souls of some of these ancestors still here on this land can go home? So that they can go home. Because they're not supposed to still be here in this land. And so that's the way I feel. So that's the way I feel about Lake Lanier. I said if I ever go to Lake Lanier, I'm going for one reason and one reason only. The ones who are meant to be free, I want them to go home. I want them to go home. I don't want them to have to stay. I don't want them to stay there no more. I don't want them to stay there no more. If I ever go to that lake, I'm going for one reason and one reason only. And that one, I'm probably going to have to bring a few folks with me. But I told, look, I got clothes right here that will be folded momentarily. I thought I was going to fold and talk, but I got to go in and I couldn't fold and talk. I couldn't focus. My brain couldn't do the two things together. Um, but if I go to Lake Lanier, I know where I'm going. I've already said it. I'm going to Lake Lanier and I'm going to send as many of them home as I possibly can. I'm going to ancestralize as many of them as I could possibly, and the wind blowing past my window as I possibly can. And I feel a way about people who go to these plantations. Um, you see, the fact that you would give me this the day after I said they need to do that to plantations. Like I just like if you post watch the video of me at Juneteenth, that's what I said. It's like, while y'all going to these plantations, go ahead and pray for the freedom of these ancestors. Y'all going over there. What you want to see it for? If not to do some healing. And sage ain't enough. Respectfully. Sage ain't enough. Sage is not enough. No, we got like no, like some work need to be done. Don't let it freak you out. It is, I don't know what your practice is or anything like that. And I don't know if you live in Georgia, because I do. So if you don't live in Georgia, as much as it's for you, it might actually be for me for real, because that's crazy. If you don't actually live in Georgia near Lake Lanier, but I would say that, especially if you had it last night, it's Juneteenth. And I feel like it's Juneteenth, it's Black Music Month, and things of that nature. I feel like the energy of our Black ancestors is more noticeable during things like that. So Black History Month, I think people have a lot of dreams about their ancestors. And I think Juneteenth is another time of year where you have a lot of dreams about your ancestors. And so, and it's 4:44 on the clock. Thank you for the confirmation. And so have a dream like that. I think that's the ancestors trying to get something out to someone to say, hey, we are mad. And I wonder how soon it is for that little a water park at Lake Lanier. The outright colonized audacity. What was I doing? Like the audacity to have a water park there. Like you're not even going to drain it and at least give these remains a proper burial or nothing. I would say without divining, I can't tell you like specifics on, like I'd have to be able to read you in order to tell you specifics. But I would say I wouldn't like the idea that they're down there and angry. I've said that more than once. They are angry. And that's why what happens at Lake Lanier keeps happening. Somebody on my Facebook, she's black, and she was going and she was near there, and she ended up falling or something and really hurting herself. And I said, they saved your life. Because if you were about to follow some other folks out there to that water, they saved your life. It's like, we don't want you. You'll stay your behind up there on the land before you get called up. Like, why would you come here? Like, especially like if you like, you could be various shades of brown. If you were any shade of brown, why would you go there if not to help them? Why would you go there if not to help them? Why? Because it sounds cool. Oh, I went to Lake Lanier. But what did you do? Well, I burned a little sage or some incense. What is that going to do? Nothing. No. Not couple, like if you coupled it with a ritual to say, I'm going to elevate these spirits so that they are not trapped here in this realm. Okay, I could get with that. There's a plantation near me, and it's about 20 minutes away. And I rode to it, and I was just like, I wanted to know what the energy felt like. I said something, I like, I don't know. And so I went and I brought an offering because, yeah, it was like real talk. Like, especially if you look like me, don't you go visit one of these little plantations that they are capitalizing off the fact that it was a plantation. So the fact that they would charge somebody black to go visit a plantation is a level of audacity that I don't know that I ever want. The moment I saw melanin, I would be like, you know what, you get in for free. The rest of these suckers should pay. You should be able to come walk the lands that your ancestors walked for free. So this one, you could walk on your own for free. You walk around on your own for free. And but there is another family there, and they were like, "Hey, would you like to tour with us?" It was me and a bunch of, yeah, no, I'm good, homie. I got it. I'm good on it. Because I don't know how it's gonna feel with a guide and they in a family, and then it's me. No, oh no. But I went and I'm just like, I gotta go back.
Can I eat some McDonald's?
I will get it as soon as I'm done. Go use the bathroom. And so if
I just used that at my dad's house.
you've been home days, please go potty. Okay. So being able to, go and walk those lands, to me, it's like, what do we want to see? We've seen it all in the movies. So what do we want to see? Why are we going there? If not to help, if not to honor the ones that live there with offerings that their ancestors probably couldn't do. To do ancestralization in a way that that are the rest of them could not do. And don't get it twisted, because my godchildren are doing an exercise now. We got way too many ancestors still in this realm. We got way too many ancestors still here, and not by choice. It's one thing if they chose to be, but it's another thing where they cannot move on. Way too many that need help moving on. And because, especially in Black America, you have been told that your ancestors are evil, so you can't even do basic veneration that would at least help their energy rise some. So thank you for sharing the dream. If you want me to divine on it, um, I'd pick the one question divination. If that's the only thing you want to know about, there's a link in my bio for one question. It's like just like $55 or something, and it's like an hour and some change session, and we'll dig into your dream. We'll dig into it and see what message it is that you're trying to get. Is the message for you? Were you meant to get the dream just so you pop into my live today and tell me, so I can get on the idea that I've had in my head for like a year? You're gonna be like, because it easily could be that. Like you were sent to light a fire under me, and I'm like, all right, I hear you. Huh. Well, hi. So we can talk about that. We can talk about it, talk it through because I'm just like, what are the chances? So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Anybody else got anything? I can't see. Oh, hey Bree. Hey Bree. It has been a minute. It has been a minute. And like for my folks who like, you haven't been live in a long time. That's because one, I've been busy. Um, and also because it's been post initiation for me. So your girl got some more spiritual elevation done. Um, so um, no longer just, I mean, I haven't been just Omo Yemoja and Shango for a minute. There were like a list of Orishas had showed up, but I actually went ahead and did ceremony for several of the other Orishas that had shown up. Yeah, yeah. Every time I felt like I was gonna go live, it was like sleepy. Oh, okay. Guess I'm going to sleep. Ifa has been making me take naps. My Ori has been like, take a nap, but I gotta take a nap. Okay, okay. So today, when I felt like my energy was good, and physically I'm sore from yesterday because I had to do a lot of walking to take all my stuff down from Juneteenth and get it back to my car. So I'm sore from doing all of that. But the thing that I need for that is massage. Send some cash app so our mama could get a massage. Send me $2 to go to the massage fund. But I need a massage. Like I know I need a massage. The fact that I got one of those 15-minute massages in the mall and it felt like 45. I'm like, was that only 15 minutes? That felt like, no, it was only 10. He gave me a 10-minute massage and it felt like 45. That's when I knew, I said, I need some body work done. Like my vessel needs some body work done. So I was like, I'm going to send a message and like, hey, send me $2 to go towards my massage so I can go do something with my body. It shouldn't feel like this. And then it was like 90 something degrees outside. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. But the biggest thing had been me trying to settle in, not get used to the newer reaches because we had already been building a relationship. But it was like I needed to just kind of get some other things done. And I also did my first initiation. So I've done both. I have received initiation and I also facilitated my first initiation with some of my godchildren. So it had been a lot of energy that I had been wielding. And it felt like some of me, but also to be protective of everybody else because I might have been really resonating. And I have to be mindful of my own ashe when I come into space so that I don't, you know, blow the muffin cap off somebody unintentionally. But this was enjoyable. I haven't done this in a really long time, so this was cool, and I just appreciate the love. I appreciate the likes. I'm still bugging it. I'll hit double digits. I'm like, this is what's good. This is what's up. Um, what's tomorrow? Friday. I won't promise the blog on the Odoo. Who did that? Thank you. Thank you, daughter. Thank you for the donation to my massage fund. That's funny. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea how grateful I am for that. But I won't promise I'll have the blog available for the world divination this weekend. My goal is to do it next week. So I'm going to write it up as a blog. So my folks who like to read and that are on my mailing list will read it. And then folks who don't want to read, probably like around Wednesday, and it'll probably like earlier midday. So probably around the same time Wednesday, I'll do a live and just talk about some of the things. I won't get into the technicalities of it, but there's definitely things I feel like that are in the Odu that people need to be aware of, whether they're in the tradition or not, because you still on the planet. It's gonna impact it's gonna impact you at least this way. If you feel like you want to do something about it, you can. I see. All right. Well, that's it for me, lovelies. Thank y'all so much. I hope that you all have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. I hope many, 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 many Jupiter blessings come upon thee. And I will catch y'all on the flip side. Odabo. Who's on my? I wish I knew I was on Facebook and YouTube. I can't see.